What's up guys, it's Dave Marshall with the RC Air Marshal YouTube channel, and in this video series we're going to help change your RC life by going over all of the different features and functions of the all-new Spektrum NX Series Transmitters. As with all of our videos, everything that you see in the video is available in the links in the description. Those are affiliate links, and when you use those, it pays a small commission back to the channel, and we really appreciate your support. If you like the videos that we're putting out here on the RC Air Marshal YouTube channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn your notifications on so you never miss another video. Now let's get to today's tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to be talking about how to set up our timers. In order to get to our timer menu, we're going to click the scroll wheel and scroll down to timer. Click the scroll wheel again to enter the timer menu. All right, and here we'll see how we are going to set up our timers and all the different options that we have available to us. We do have a couple of different options here. We have timer 1 and timer 2, and then an integrated timer, which is basically a countdown timer for the amount of time that you've been running this particular model and the amount of time that you've been running the entire system. So now let's just focus on setting up timer 1 or timer 2. In order to start modifying the different settings, we need to lock in which set we want to work in, whether it's timer 1, timer 2, or the integrated timers. So we're going to select timer 1 and click that scroll wheel, and that will allow us to go down here and make the changes that we need to make. The first change that we can make is to the name of this particular timer, so we can either have it be, you can name it whatever you want, right? So this one is TMR1 for timer 1. The modes, we have a couple of different modes that we can choose from. We have countdown, stopwatch, and inhibit. So inhibit obviously turns the timer off. Stopwatch is basically a count up timer. So when you meet the thresholds, which are defined here in start over 25%, so anytime you have the throttle stick over 25%, it's going to start a stopwatch, which is basically just going to count up until you go below 25% throttle. Now if we select one time, if we turn that on, we can just click on inhibit and it will turn it into active, and that's your two choices, inhibit or active. If we have it set to one time, as soon as we go over 25%, it doesn't matter where our throttle position is there, as long as we haven't reset that timer yet, it will continue to count up indefinitely. So having one time set to inhibit means that anytime we're over 25% throttle, it's going to start that timer. If we have one time set to active, the first time we go above 25% throttle, it's just going to count continuously. Now the same thing holds true if we have the mode set to countdown. And that's basically the options that we have here. We either have a stopwatch, which counts up, and a countdown timer which counts down. So in this particular example, we have a 5-minute timer, but we can go in there and adjust either the minutes or the seconds. So if we wanted to change this to say an 8-minute timer, or say we want to change it to a 4-minute and 30-second timer, we can go in there and adjust minutes and seconds accordingly. Earlier I was talking about the thresholds to either start the timer or stop it, right? So these are your thresholds. So we're going to start this timer with the throttle stick over 25%. Now we can actually assign this to a switch. So we can tell it anytime we activate switch A, anytime we have switch H activated, whatever the case may be. We can also use the throttle stick, the ailerons, elevator, rudder, the right knob, left lever, right lever, your trim switches. There's a lot of different things that we can use to activate the timer. Whatever your choice is, you can go through there and set up that threshold however you want. Now typically I like to use the throttle stick over 25%. That's what I would consider useful throttle. So that's usually how I am setting up my timers. I will usually always have a countdown timer set, but sometimes I like to have a second timer, one that's a countdown timer that is set to whatever I know my battery life is set to. If my battery life is typically 4 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever the case may be, I'll set up my countdown timer to coincide with that battery life. But because it's set to useful throttle, so anytime my throttle stick is above 25%, I may also want a second timer to tell me my total flight time. The way we would get to that is by going up here and just setting up timer 2. We'll set that mode to stopwatch, and we'll set the one time to active. That way, the first time I go over 25% throttle, my stopwatch is just going to continuously count until I'm at the end of my flight. Now, what I can derive from that information is I can go back and look at the timers, and I can see the total flight time by looking at timer 2 as opposed to timer 1. Now let's go over to the next screen. What this is doing is that for each timer, we can assign a clear button, and you see that we have a lot of different options in the way that we can clear it. Now, I typically do that by pressing the clear button. So I'm going to set this to the clear button, and that is what I'm going to use to clear both timers. Let's go to next again, and here's where we have our timer event alerts. So how is the radio going to notify us when the timer reaches certain milestones? Typically, when I'm on a countdown timer, I like the radio to give me a voice alert saying, that I've got 5 minutes remaining, 4 minutes remaining, 3 minutes remaining, etc. And right now that's set to inhibit. So for each one of these, so when I am at 1 minute in my countdown, I can have it say something. When I have 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 10 seconds, and here it will be a countdown timer, the 10 seconds to 1 second. The expiration, and then every minute above the countdown timer, it will make alarms as well. So if I wanted to set those up, right here where it has every minute is inhibited, I like that to be on, so I can just press my scroll wheel, and I can go over to however I want that to be. If I just want it to be a simple tone, if I want it to be a vibration where I feel it in my hands, I want it to be a tone and a vibration, or if I want it to be a voice alarm, or a voice and vibration. Now, I like my radio to talk to me. I know a lot of people don't like that, so you can choose either one that you want. I actually like to turn all of these to both voice and vibration. And let's go over to next and see what is in our next set of menus. All right, so our next set of submenus is our timer control alerts. This is how the transmitter is going to alert you when you have met the thresholds to either start or stop the timer or to reset the timer. Right now, if I run the timer over 25%, we'll hear that little tone. If I want to change that, I'll simply go down here to timer start. I'll click tone, and I can change that to a voice if I want it to, or I can turn it to inhibited where it doesn't make any kind of tone at all. Now, I find the voice for my timer start and timer stop to be extremely annoying. Timer start. So you can just have it screaming timer start every time the clock starts and stops. I prefer to just have a tone there, where as I pass 25%, it makes a small beep, and as I go below 25% throttle, it makes a small beep. And you can do that for both timer start and timer stop. So timer start would be where I go above 25%. Timer stop is where I go below 25%. And then the timer reset, I actually do like there to be a voice there. So I'll set up a voice alert for my timer reset. That way when I'm on my main screen and I click the clear button, it resets both of my timers. So now with timer 1 and timer 2 both active, you can see those on the main screen. And what you'll see is the way I have those set up. The countdown timer only counts when I'm above 25% throttle. The stopwatch timer here on the bottom will start counting up no matter what position my throttle is in. So I'm going to go ahead and go above 25% throttle. All right, so I am above 25% throttle now, and you'll see that my countdown timer is counting down. My count up timer is starting to count up. So the bottom number is going to represent my total flight time, and the top number is my useful battery remaining. So if I go below 25% throttle, what you'll see is that right now I'm effectively in a glide with the throttle below 25%. My battery timer has stopped because I'm no longer taking a significant drain on the battery, but my stopwatch is going to continue to count up even when my countdown timer is not counting. So we can see here I'm above 25% throttle again, and I'll drop below 25% throttle. The countdown timer will stop. The count up timer continues to go. And when we're done with our flight and we want to reset these timers, we set the timer reset to be the clear button. And when we hit that, we're going to hear that voice prompt of timer clear. And now everything is ready for our next flight. A power cycle of the transmitter will also reset these timers. One of the things that I forgot to mention is the throttle stick as far as your thresholds for starting the timer. We can start the timer with either above or below, so we can have over or under here, which you can select by clicking on the over under. So you can either start it when you're under a certain value or over a certain value. And that's all there is to setting up the timers on the Spektrum NX Series transmitter. All right, guys, that's it for today's tutorial on the NX Series transmitters. Again, if you're looking to buy an NX Series transmitter, please check our links in the description. Those are affiliate links that pay a small commission back to the channel, and we absolutely appreciate your support. And as always, for all the other things that you need to change your RC life, you can always go to rcairmarshal.com, where you'll find affiliate links to all of our affiliate partners. If you have any questions on today's video, be sure to leave those down in the comments below, and I'll be sure to answer those as soon as I get a chance. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.